guys, it's me. Good morning. I just wanted to let you know what I am doing today. Today is actually Thursday, November 12th, 2020, and as you know, I'm not in class today because I'm at a conference. I'll actually be attending not one but two conferences today, and I have my fourth screen turned on, but I did want to catch you up on some of the late-breaking technologies that I'm learning about. Right now, I'm at the IBEA conference. IBEA stands for the Illinois Business Educators Association. So we're learning about, teachers are learning about how we can best reach students of business education classes, specifically our classes. And right now I'm at the opening session. So I am learning on my screen, and I can't show you my screen because this is her knowledge, her intellectual property. That's a legal matter. We'll talk more about it in class. So I can only share with you my responses to what I am participating in now. And what we're doing right now, I'm listening to Dr. Corinne Hosington. I'm actually taking notes as we speak. And what Dr. Hosington is about, she's a professor and an author for Information Systems Technology at Central Virginia Community College, and she's actually an author of textbooks, some of what we use in class. And her topic today is how has business permanently changed beyond, now and beyond, so in the future with COVID-19. And she came up with some fascinating strategies that I just had to mute about to share with you. The first thing that I found very powerful and very interesting that she's talking about are the 6 traits that today's future employer will need to know. Let me restate that differently. What skills do we need to know now as students that's going to take place today, tomorrow, and beyond? She listed about 6 of them, but the 3 that stuck with me are emotional intelligence. One of the business terms or new vocabulary words we're hearing with that is emotional, E-I for intelligence. We'll talk about that more in class because I have to get back to my learning. We're also talking about innovation. Innovation is how are we creative and redesigning or inventing new things. And we're talking about being flexible, being fluid and moving, being able to pivot and adjust quickly. The next thing that she's sharing with us are powerful vocabulary words. Some of the ones that I want to bring back to our class, including the sharing economy. Right about now, and it has been for about 3 to 5 years, we're in the sharing economy. Some of the topics that we'll see with that, including hoteling. So for example, in the workplace, people tend to, in pre-COVID, had their own office space, would share conference rooms, and we would have shared break rooms. You can think about that for school yourself. But now, in the advent of COVID-19, many Fortune 500 companies, many of the more powerful, bigger stock exchange companies, are practicing hoteling, whereas the employees are working from home, and if they need to come into the workplace, then they are sharing and reserving not only a desk, but also maybe a conference room and a small amount of time in the office. This is shrinking budgets, decreasing budgets or expenses, how much businesses are spending on real estate. So for example, my sister works for a major airline downtown at the Water Tower building. And they currently, within the past 10 years or so, they had about 10 floors at the Water Tower building. But they're thinking of returning back into the workplace, maybe indefinitely. So they are shrinking how much they're spending on real estate, how much they are spending on office space. Hoteling would be a great idea for this airline, and that's something that they're looking to do. Another aspect of the sharing economy is thinking about ride sharing. When I was growing up, we had taxi cabs, and as a matter of fact, I have 2 uncles who are taxi cab drivers. I remember the conversation where you had to buy like a plaque. It was called a medallion to show that you are a legal yellow cab taxi driver. But in today's technology, and I've seen some of us even leave school in Ubers, in ride shares, in Lyfts. A sharing economy now shows you may not even need to buy a car. You can just use a ride as you need to by clicking on a link to the app and getting where you need to go. She's also sharing with us the advent or the start of or the use of electric cars such as Tesla. And we're looking at how safety and sanitation is being changed in the new way of COVID or the new world of COVID. With that being said, you can imagine how restaurants or open spaces, maybe even hospitals, they have to clean and sanitize almost nonstop to decrease germs. Even when we go shopping, there are wipes and sanitation sprays to help us. What we are looking at also there is that these are good roles for a gig economy. Perhaps if you want to start your own business today or within the next 5 years, keeping in mind with the sharing economy or the gig economy, you can consider how you can offer hoteling or ride sharing or even the safety and sanitation. That's a growing industry. She also talked about some new technologies that I want us to explore together or even on your own if we're not able to meet synchronously. She talked about Google Lenses, where Google, and that's spelled Google and Lens, Lens, where it's an app that we have now and you can search what you see. So for example, if you see I have my house phone, you like it, you could turn on your Google Lens and you could scan that image or look at it through your Google Lens, and it will tell you where I got this, how much it costs. For example, for me, I got it from Walmart for $19.99. I'd like you to consider how Google Lens would help change augmented reality or AR. If, for example, you saw this cup that I'm using, you had Google Lens on, you'd be able to decide or learn where you could buy it to, the cost of it, and maybe Amazon it Prime to your door today. Dr. Hosington also talked about with us the 2020 skills outlook. So what's growing, what's increasing, and what's declining, what's decreasing. And one of the ways you can learn that for yourself is to go to glassdoor.com to see the top 20 jobs in America based off of 2020. I haven't tried it myself, but perhaps Glassdoor also has the top 20 jobs internationally, and not only for 2020, but maybe 2025. That's something you can consider researching on your own. She also shared with us about workforce training and how it's ideal to outsource your knowledge, and instead of Beyonce's bills, outsource your skills. What is it that you know that someone doesn't know? This would help us fill gaps in the services and products industry. So for example, perhaps you know how to build web pages. Hint, web design students. With that being said, I may not have enough money in my budget for my small business. I want to start selling lip glosses, for example. So then I would use the gig economy to outsource for you to build my website, for example. Dr. Hosington also shared with us about how businesses are using virtual reality to bring people together while we work from home. So, for example, businesses are using Oculus, as well as Microsoft now has the HoloLens 2 or HoloLens 2, whereas it's a virtual reality. And Microsoft also has the Spatial app. So businesses and classrooms are using this by having their students and employees wear these VR glasses and interact in augmented reality or virtual reality. Instead of being work from home isolated, you're now connected virtually. I thought that was really important and really fun. Thinking about using VR in our classrooms, that's one way we could collaborate again in the future. And it also could give us examples on teaching soft skills. So an example of a soft skill would be public speaking. Could you imagine, class, if we had VR lenses while we were at home? We could attend assemblies, we could practice presentations, and in the case of our business concepts and technology scholars, we could have our portfolio presentation delivered. You could dress up You could have a presentation, and we are all attending a assembly, if you will, through VR. I think that would be fascinating. We also started talking about how if in 2020, with the advent of COVID or with the launch of COVID, if this is a new industrial revolution, a new change in the business and workplace world, how can we better prepare the future of business and technology? With that being said, scholars, I want us to really think about how jobs are changing, and maybe we should spend some time, maybe about 15 minutes each week, thinking and planning together about the future and how you and I would meet and create our new reality. As mentioned, I got to go back to class, but I wanted to share those new developments with you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.